Welcome back to our News Center Maine Voice of the Voter Candidate Forum. We have with us this evening, live from Augusta, the 4 candidates for the United States Senate in Maine. And we're going to resume our questions. This time we're going to begin with Independent Jason Cherry. One of the problems that has come about in Maine in recent years is one that most people had not dealt with before, and that is the worker shortage. We're in front of an audience of business people. They know how acute the problem is in many parts of the state. What, if anything, can the federal government do to address the shortage of workers that is really hurting so many employers?
Well, I work for a law firm that handles labor issues, and it is across the board, across the nation, the labor shortage. There's also, concerns about immigration. So if you talk about labor shortage, you talk about immigration. Immigration in a sense that we have highly skilled technical people that are here willing to contribute to the economy. I would be in favor of controlled immigration where the federal government actually plans out the infrastructure. So many police, so many hospitals, so many schools, so much infrastructure before we start shoving people into cities trying to find jobs. So I think we can actually streamline the immigration where we find those working skills, we go overseas, we get those visas, and bring those people in. Also, the second one, of course, is technology. It's automation. Do we need someone to do that, that technique or that service? Can we have someone else do that and fulfill that role? We all see this at the supermarkets where, it is tough to find a cashier. But for both of those, our economy will grow with the help of immigration, but it will be a more logical pattern for immigration and not what we have now.
All right, I want to move on and let Senator Angus King answer the same question.
Well, the first thing is that this is absolutely a valid question because every business that comes to my office talks about workforce shortage, whether it's truck drivers, school teachers, nurses, you name it. We're short everywhere. One way to deal with this is upskilling and training. I think one of the best things to happen in Maine in recent years is free community college. That opens up training and skill building for thousands of people in Maine. Mr. Cherry is right. Immigration is another source. Senator Collins and I, right now, you can come into Maine or you can come into the United States. You have a claim for asylum, but you can't do anything. You can't work for 6 months. So we've got skilled people who are literally sitting there, unable to work. They then have to go on public welfare. Susan and I's bill would reduce that to 30 days. So that we've got a ready, willing, and able workforce. I was in Becky's Diner last week on the waterfront in Portland, and Becky told me how fabulous the workers she's getting from the work that she's getting from the new Mainers who have come in to keep that restaurant afloat. And we're not talking about costing Americans jobs. We're talking about preserving Americans' jobs because without those additional workers, the whole restaurant has to go to 3 or 4 days a week.
Demi Kazanas.
I know it firsthand. My parents were illegal immigrants. They came here to the United States. My dad only had an eighth grade education, and we struggled with wage. So we understand that. The problem we have today, though, is a workforce shortage of healthcare providers. I can tell you in the healthcare field where we have many offices that don't have enough dental assistants or hygienists, and housing is a huge issue in the state of Maine. So that needs to be addressed. Another thing is...
What are the solutions that you would put forward?
With housing?
With the worker shortage and housing, which could be part of it, but what are the specific solutions that you would put forward?
Well, for one thing, we have illegals coming to the state. Why don't we open up and have more legal immigrants come to the United States? Instead of 1 million per year, let's make it 3 million per year. These people are ready to come here, they are being vetted, and they're ready to work. With the asylum seekers, you have a lot of adjudication that has to occur, and are they supposed to be here? We know from facts from Monday night, we know that probably only barely 12% of the people that are coming here legally are true asylum seekers. And so now you have people that are here that may not be part of that system and can't be here, shouldn't be here, and may not be able to work.
Okay.
So we have a huge issue in that area.
I want to give David Costello a shot at this question.
So a couple of things. I mean, as Jason and Senator King have mentioned, certainly upskilling, workforce training. We need more federal assistance, more federal resources as well as apprenticeships. So I'd add apprenticeships to that list. In terms of immigration, obviously, we've always given priority to high-skilled immigrants. So we need to fix a broken immigration system. I think we all agree with that. That's something we might talk a little more on later. And as far as housing, obviously, we've got a housing shortage in Maine, and as well as the cost of housing. We need to do a lot more to build out our inventory of housing so that we've got places for people to afford to live in, whether they're healthcare workers or first responders or teachers. And of course, we can do that again with a lot more federal assistance at the federal level. I support Senator Warren and Warnock's Housing and Mobility Act, which would pump a significant amount of resources into the federal government's toolkit to help with housing. And again, with education, it's foundational. And if we've got good schools, which we've got among the best in the nation, we can always improve by providing more resources for our local jurisdictions and our local school districts.
There seems to be some agreement that clearly one way to address this problem is by repairing what pretty much everyone agrees is a broken immigration system. So I'm going to ask each of you to just give me 1 or 2 concise points. What can be done to repair the immigration system? Senator King.
Passed the bipartisan bill that James Lankford and Chris Murphy negotiated last year. Strongest immigration border bill in 40 years, endorsed by the Wall Street Journal and the Border Patrol Union. The bill would have made a huge difference in terms of the problem at the border. Now, that's not immigration. There's a whole range of other things. We were talking earlier just about the talent that we need. We have a huge river of talent flowing through Maine and through this country of foreign students. They come to our universities and higher education. They then have to go home. We should staple a green card to their diploma. Keep those talented people here.
Demi Kazanas, same question.
Secure the border. It should be #1 priority. The bill that you're talking about, Senator, would allow 5,000 people in a day up to 7 days, or 85,000 per day. And then I guess at that point, the president could have shut down the border. Why not shut down the border now? For a lot of reasons, including fentanyl's coming in. #1 killer of 18 to 45-year-olds in our country is fentanyl. It is 50 times more powerful than heroin, and it's killing people. Second of all, humanitarian. When I went down to the border, what I saw were women and children that are coming across. They are abused. I went to the hospitals. The Yuma, Arizona Regional Hospital is in a hole $28 million because it's treating these poor people coming across that are basically, having to pay the cartels and then basically coming in here and being in servitude to them.
David Costello.
It's a humongous problem.
David Costello.
Like Senator King, I think what's going to happen, you'll see Senator Murphy and Senator Lankford's bill come up again. I'd likely support that, although I prefer the Gang of 8 bill from 2013, which was more comprehensive, had $40 billion for border security, but also had a lot of in there as it relates to the Dreamers, those who are already in the United States, who are paying taxes, who want to become citizens. So this gets back to legalizing a lot of people who are here who are paying taxes. So I would want a more comprehensive bill than the one that the senator has referred to.
Jason Cherry.
I have read through the bill that Senator King has mentioned, and it does have some loopholes. I think what jaundices or shadows the immigration here of visas and highly technical people that every company would love to have in their roster versus a socioeconomic problem, not a socioeconomic problem where the question is asked, how many poor people can we put into a city and not have the businesses that profit from it contribute. So I would increase the security at the border because that gives the whole kit and caboodle a bad name. We need to help those people that are in deplorable conditions, but at a certain point, those businesses that are profiting from mass immigration need to add more to the infrastructure.